Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has been out for a week, and 2 new Pokemon have been added to the ban list. Palafin has been banned because of its incredible stats, amazing priority move in Jet Punch, and its ability to set up on even resistances. Iron Bundle has been banned because of its virtually unresisted Hydro Pump and Freeze Dry, plus high speed. Let's take a closer look at these bans in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet OU. Today, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Council held a vote, and both Palafin and Iron Bundle are banned from Scarlet and Violet OU, effective immediately. So let's get let's dive a little deeper into what they have to say here. I had a video yesterday talking about the Pokemon that were on the slate, and these were the only 2 that ended up being banned out of everything. We'll go over everything as well, and let me know your thoughts, guys. So just for discussion purposes, the Pokemon that were on the slate to be banned, you can see right here: Palafin, Iron Bundle, Cyclizar, Chien-Pao, Roaring Moon, Gholdengo, and Annihilate. And as you can see, Chien-Pao, Roaring Moon, and Gholdengo received no ban votes. And then you have Cyclizar, which basically went more ban than no ban, but because it needs a supermajority to have it, no ban. Iron Bundle, Palafin was unanimous, banned. Iron Bundle basically only received 2 do not ban. So once again, it was unanimous in this one, so it ended up being banned. Gholdengo had absolutely nothing, and same thing, like I said, Roaring Moon and Chien-Pao. So nobody expected these or said these were broken. Nobody wanted to vote ban on these. And then Annihilate, only 3 people voted ban, and multiple people did not. I do want to also know that there's an update on Annihilate that we now understand that Rage Fist only boosts with attacking moves. So things like Will-O-Wisp and stuff like that do not actually boost the Rage Fist. So let's talk about Palafin and see what their reasoning is here. When looking at Palafin, it can be easy to be skeptical on its prowess. Its base form is extremely underwhelming, adorned with low BST and ruinous offenses. If there were all that Palafin was, it would not be seeing any OU play, much less even be unanimously quick banned in the early stages of the metagame. What makes Palafin such a potent Pokemon? The answer lies in Zero to Hero, an ability that allows Palafin to transform from Pokemon competing with the likes of Lumineon for a slot in your untiered team to Pokemon rivaling Box Legends just by switching out. For starters, Palafin Hero has a staggering 650 base stat total, and much of this is well distributed. Palafin Hero comes adorned with great bulk, a solid defensive typing, a ludicrously high attack stat, and a fairly respectable speed tier. This makes it an offensive superstar in every sense of the word that can not only deal damage even the Avengers would respect, but also take it well too. All this fluff on this right here. Let me make this a little bit bigger. What's more is that Palafin comes with a superb signature move in Jet Punch, a 60 base power water type priority move that synergizes well with its sky high attack, letting it jet through faster threats such as Iron Valiant, Rapid Spin boosted Great Tusk, or Choice Scarf Chi-Yu. Jet Punch, alongside its natural access to Flip Turn, Wave Crash, and Great Coverage, makes Choice Band sets very potent at wall breaking and revenge killing, especially with the aid of Terra Water to let it storm through resisted targets. And just to show you, what set they're actually talking about. So on the Choice Band set, typically it would be you have the Jet Punch for your priority, and you usually use Terra Water just because, going from 1.5 times to 2 times is insane for priority. You have Wave Crash, which is your strong, basically double-edged type move. Close combat, low coverage, and then your last move can either be Flip Turn to get on out of there as a lead, or it can be Ice Punch for things like Dragonite, and the main one that people tend to use was Zen Headbutt because it allows it to hit both Toxapex and Amoonguss, and they ran either Adamant or Jolly on this Pokemon, being an insane revenge killer, right? Obviously, from regular Palafin, you still have the speed 100, but all its other stats are very, very bad. But once you switch it out, you immediately go to Hero Form. Definitely a crazy Pokemon. It sucks because, I'm still going to use it on Wi-Fi because I really don't care. This is only Smogon where this affects. Also, guys, if you do enjoy these update videos, these news videos, discussion videos, everything, make sure you subscribe. I'm on the way to 400k, and you help me get there. I'm still going to be using this because I just got a shiny, and I literally just EV trained it and did everything on stream last night. So, yeah, we're definitely using this Pokemon still. But, yeah, this is like the main one that they were talking about right there, and we'll talk about the bulk upset in a second because I'm sure they're going to get into it. If that were to end the story, Palafin will likely find a very strong but potentially fine place in the metagame. It lacks a secondary stab and can be worn down naturally through Rocky Helmet, Wave Crash Recoil, and Hazards, especially seeing as it needs to exist on the field before changing into its hero form. However, shortly following the ban of Fluttermane and Houndstone, bulk upless taunt sets fully caught on, which take advantage of just about everything that makes Palafin naturally strong and dials it up to an 11 to wipe unprepared teams. Due to its naturally good speed tier and Jet Punch covering the difference against against faster Pokemon. The second affords significant HP investment, which is a tandem with its innately good 197-87 bulk. Solid defensive typing, because water is great typing, both offensively and defensively. Leftovers and Drain Punch make it very durable. Furthermore, with Taunt, it is capable of denying defensive counterplay like status from Clodsire, forcing more passive Pokemon to challenge its superb bulk directly and lay at the mercy of repeated bulk up usage. Because of the combination of these factors, Palafin can achieve outstanding feats like 1v1ing Dondozo. And this is a Pokemon with Unaware, so it ignores the boost. The physically bulkiest Water-type resistant Pokemon available in the metagame that even packs Unaware. This says even worse with Terra support, as with Terra Steel, it can completely shut down potential counterplay like Sludge Bomb, Toxapex, or Giga Drain Amoonguss, or Clear Smog Amoonguss. While this isn't unstoppable at constant focus fire and options like Choice Scarf Trick or some faster targets packing health and a Jet Punch resistance like Iron Bundle. Basically, they're saying Iron Bundle can revenge kill it with Freeze Dry. One way people beat this Pokemon was they would trick it with Goldengo because it would live a +1 Jet Punch, or just repeatedly just attacking into it. It will almost always create trades overwhelmingly weighed in the Palafin user's favor and or leave unhealthy constraint on team options and gameplay that's capable of invalidating a bevy of Pokemon. Overall, it is far too powerful, demanding, and low cost to be a healthy presence in the Scarlet Valley, OU metagame. It has been voted upon to be quick banned in a unanimous fashion. So yeah, like I said, this one was like no joke. Obviously, they have that set and the other set they were referring to, and this one could still run Terra type water if it wanted to, but Steel was just better. To not be able to be poisoned, to have the weakness to fighting and ground didn't really matter too much either, since most of those moves, and the fire, most of those moves are coming at it. If they're fire moves, they're coming from a fire type Pokemon, which would get wrecked by Jet Punch priority, and the other is with Earthquake and whatnot. And close combat, you basically would just eat it up and you would be able to do that. So something that some people ran a little bit of speed, usually there, max attack or something people ran with Adamant. Then bulk, you could change the speed if you want. You're faster than like base 60s with this much speed. You could go a little bit more, you can go a little bit less. I know some people also ran for Breloom. Oh, Draining Kiss, excuse me, this is supposed to be Draining Punch. So this Pokemon in particular, I think even like looking through the old video that I did, or the video that I did yesterday, most people kind of think that this Pokemon did deserve to be banned. I think that in terms of everything that was on this list, this was definitely the most powerful in my opinion, and the most drawback free. I don't think the Taunt set was as strong as it was prior to, I think to before, because if it has to Terra type Steel quickly, it's a little bit easier to deal with. And again, we talked about the counterplay there, and if we force the Terra type Steel, then you can start Focus Blasting, tricking, and doing things like that. But I do think that this one was actually one of the scariest mons on that list, and no drawback in terms of its moves besides resistances, because even your resisted move, besides recoil, because even your resisted move will be doing too much damage. What are your thoughts on the Palafin ban? I basically have been saying them for a little while now. I think this was the one we kind of expected to be banned though. I'm gonna be honest though, I felt like everything else on the tier didn't really need to be banned, or didn't really need to be looked at personally, but obviously they kept going with Iron Bundle. Now, Iron Bundle, it was the night after Thanksgiving and all was well. Okay, but then Robot Santa came and brought OU hell. All right. Yes, we live in a timeline where Delibird form is quick banned from OU, and yes, it's absolutely hilarious. But what's not hilarious is how ridiculous Iron Bundle is. To put a bow on it, okay, I'm done with the puns, man. Iron Bundle takes on Pokemon Santa is more akin to Futurama's Robot Santa Claus than the one, wow, I don't know how many people actually know that reference, than the one we all know and love. Iron Bundle comes with ludicrous offensive profile, packing, and unresisted stab combo, Freeze Dry and Hydro Pump off of a truly insane speed tier that gets the jump on the entire unboosted metagame, barring Dragapult, and a very good special attack stat to boot. This by itself is the making for a truly elite offensive Pokemon, limiting consistent defensive counterplay to Blissey. There's truly a finite list of Pokemon that are willing and able to stomach repeated hits from Iron Bundle, and oftentimes they cannot even afford to do so. There's been several slots aiming to take advantage of its natural strength and stab combination. It certainly can use booster energy, often with agility, but typically Iron Bundle finds itself preferring heavy duty boots or a choice item. Heavy duty boots is nice because you're weak to Stealth Rock, and these ignore Stealth Rock and hazards, so you can come in repeatedly, keeping yourself healthy to actually check Palafin and other Pokemon like that. Heavy Duty Boots is the best option in most scenarios, playing to its unresisted stab combo, leveraging move slots to afford options like Taunt, Flip Turn, and Encore to block defensive counterplay from its last checks. And yeah, Taunt obviously can stop recovery, even stopping like, you hit Blissey with Hydro Pump once or twice, you taunt them to stop them recovering. You get Corviknight with Hydro Pump when it comes in. Corviknight actually isn't 2-hit KO by Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, or Freeze Dry, unless you are choice specs. And then usually Corviknight teams are paired with like a Mungus and things like that. They could pivot around. And you have only 4 Hydro Pumps versus Corviknight because of pressure ability. And you miss a lot with this Pokemon. That's the way I feel anyway. But Taunt obviously stops that recovery. But it only works, in my opinion, if you actually manage to land. A Force Flip Turn gives you momentum. Encore is really nice too for stopping setup like Annihilate. And this Mon being really healthy is, again, lets it actually check Pokemon like Palafin. However, it's definitely a fine user of choice items with removal support, and this can even mitigate potential forms of counterplay and opposing Choice Scarf users. Alongside shockingly good physical blow to take on priority and Terra Water as disposal of stomach priority options like Bullet Punch and Mach Punch that also bolster its damage output further. It's extremely difficult to consistently take out. Game states can even be greatly warped by Iron Bundle, often requiring offensive counterplay due to its obscenely commanding kit and how well it adorns Heavy Duty Boots to enter the field more easily. To get in a position to force it out, chip it down, in order to remove it from the game, fodder is often necessary. It's true that Iron Bundle can be played around. Yeah, and it can. I was about to talk about that. But when this is reliant on getting prediction right, dodging Hydro Pump, and sacking Pokemon, it winds up being a Pokemon that is often heavily constraining for most structures to build or to play against in practice. As such, Iron Bundle has been voted by the council to be seen as an unbalanced presence and be removed from the Scarlet and Violet OU metagame. Hopefully this doesn't put us on a naughty list. Okay. I wish I didn't read that. I do want to know your thoughts on that too. I was about to say, like, counterplay this thing is kind of like very telegraphed. I'm out with a Pokemon that is weak to... Okay, let's talk about this. So I'm out with a Pokemon that is weak to Freeze Dry, right? Taunt. Sometimes people talk about Heavy Duty Boots. Encore is there, Flip Turn is there to just get momentum for your team and whatnot. I'm weak to out with a Pokemon that is weak to Freeze Dry. I switch out to my Choice Scarf, good angle on the Freeze Dry, and then I click Focus Blast. If I land it, I knock it out, type of thing. Or if they've taken damage, I can maybe potentially click Make It Rain, as they only have 56 HP and 60 special defense, or Shadow Ball, depending on the thing. Also, again, I talked about how defensive teams would run Pokemon like Corviknight plus a Mungus. So you bring out Corviknight if they go for an Ice move and they're offensively specs as your max defense. You actually are not 2-hit KO by it, unless they're modest. And then the Bolster Energy sets, they get speed immediately, and they go for agility, but they're kind of more like, they're less likely to be good because you're giving up your special attack boost if you don't run the choice items, and you're giving up your Heavy Duty Boots because you're running Bolster Energy to boost your speed, and more importantly, you're probably going to be forced out. There's also other sets that can, like I said, Terra type Water, as I mentioned, to be resistant to the, or to take neutral from Mach Punch and be resistant to Bullet Punch from like Scizor, which is rising up in usage. And there's Terra type Ice to make your Freeze Dry or Ice Beam even stronger. Scarf is also a set too because it's faster than basically every boosted Pokemon at +1. I've seen Terra type Fire with Terra Blast. I don't think that's as good, but that's something I've seen. I've seen Terra type Water with Terra Blast as well, and just with Hydro Pump, obviously. With Terra Blast Water, it's obviously, it gets rid of the Hydro Pump miss. I'm gonna be honest, this Mon, yeah, when you're fighting it, you can't really take into account missing because you have to assume that your opponent's gonna hit when you're switching into a Pokemon. But damn, does this Mon feel like it just misses more hits than it ever lands, mainly just because I've used it so much, so it just feels like that. But strong Pokemon. I do think that Palafin was possibly the only Pokemon on this list that deserved it, or at least like I saw it coming more than I saw for Iron Bundle. Obviously, this again, this dual stab is very hard to resist, and I use a lot of balance too. But I mean, it's not like there's not counterplay to it. This set in particular, for instance, Garganacl, if it terrestrializes, which it's constantly doing with its body press set, is taking less than half easily from Hydro Pump. And if it's specs, it's taking about 54. If it's Life Orb, taking about 54, 60% right from Life Orb, and knocks it out with body press from there. So like there is obviously there's counterplay in terms of on defensive teams. Though it involves a lot of pivoting, and depending on your team, depending on Houses being up, and depending on the Iron Bundle's accuracy, it is usually in Iron Bundle's favor. But it's not like that cookie cutter that it's just gonna straight up sweep you because it's faster than you and has super effective hits. I think that needs to be acknowledged. That's not what happens. But regardless, it has been banned from Scarlet and Violet OU. So what are your thoughts? Please let me know them down below. Cyclizar, Chien-Pao, Roaring Moon, and then of course the newly added Godengo and Annihilate on the slates have once again not been banned. What are your thoughts on that? How do you think they're going to end up dealing with terrestrializing? Let me know down below. I will see you guys in the next video later today. I'm still going to have a Palafin guide, by the way, just because it's banned from Smogon doesn't mean you can't use it anywhere else. Shoot, I'm going to use it on Wi-Fi. I don't care. I took my time to hunt that shiny pink dolphin, and it took me hours and like to do it the legitimate way, not just the hunt, but like the actual training and getting the PP ups and maxes and all that stuff. And I crafted close combat, even though I already had close combat apparently. Oh my god! But it was a fun stream anyway. I'm doing a marathon at A Drives. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Peace.